It's Monday, October 2nd here on the Sleepers Podcast, brought to you by Ghosts. Is that what that is?
It's like October, so I guess it's like spooky season.
Spooky season? Okay. Yeah. Are you a big Halloween guy, Halloween family?
I mean, the wife enjoys like making a spectacle out of it. I feel like sitting on the porch, having ourselves a night, maybe making a nice cocktail, a nice beverage, and like handing out candy to kids and bringing joy, and them reacting to seeing Pierre. I think she just loves the spectacle of it all.
So, I feel like you had to think about that though. Like, if you had to think about it, are you really a Halloween family?
I mean, I personally am not, unless I'm actually trick-or-treating. Once I stop trick-or-treating, I stop being pro Halloween.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay. I'm just, I didn't know that about you, and the instant reaction was definitely not that of a Halloween family guy. But then you're trying to play. I'm curious. I might be taking some notes on this, and maybe by the end of October, maybe I decipher the definitive answer to whether the Elliott family is a Halloween family. You are a Swiftie family. Big night for y'all last night. I heard you were playing a drinking game every time they showed Taylor during Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, then I definitely went through a lot more White Claws and High Noons that I thought I was going to go through. Let me tell you that. Because the lady was prevalent. She was out there. She was shown heavily.
I think she was shown close to the smallest amount she could have been shown, though, if you think about it. Because, like, the Chiefs did not play well, and Kelsey was not involved.
Yeah, the intro was crazy, though. The voice intro was crazy. It was. Like, I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, wait a minute. Like, this is an interesting promo right before I'm like, oh, my God, this is really it. This is it. But I know last night, because my wife didn't stay up for the whole game, as I hit her with the, good night, love you, basically tucked her in, stuff like that. I'm going to go watch the rest of the game. As I'm walking out the door, she hits me with the, let me know if the Chiefs win. Mahomes isn't playing that well today, huh? And I was like, I will. And yeah, you're right.
Honestly, we joked about having the girls do a show, and it's not really a joke. We want to do that, but I'm kind of interested in just bringing Meg on as a Taylor Swift correspondent. Like, give us 5 minutes on what was your interpretation of how last night went. Let her know today, please, that I'm very interested in that just at the beginning of one of these shows. I'd love to cut that in. I joked about this in a group text too. Like, I love everything about this. I can't get enough of it. I want more of it. It's the merging of like 3 of my favorite pastimes, which includes blonde female country singers, pop music, and betting on Patrick Mahomes. Like, I've been doing those 3 things for years. And now I get it all at once. It feels like I'm in the Matrix. I love everything about it. But interesting game. I mean, Kelsey, very uninvolved. Chiefs almost completely blew it. And Zach Wilson found out there were 500 million women watching this game and decided to be great.
Yeah, and in a game where everyone was betting on the Taylor Swift Kelsey boost for him to have the over 22-yard catch and the Kelsey anytime score, we got touchdowns from Blake Bell, CJ Uzama, and Allen Lazard.
You tried to nail this too. You sent me your same game parlay before the game, and it was very close to hitting. And pregame, my take to you was, wow, a lot of Jets.
Yeah, literally the only thing that didn't, I even hit on Patrick Mahomes under passing yards, which is a ridiculous thing. Like, I feel like that was the hardest one to get, and I literally got a game where Patrick Mahomes threw multiple interceptions. Like, I had what I needed, but Conklin dropped a touchdown. Garrett Wilson got overthrown on a touchdown, and it just didn't happen for me. But it was close. I actually got a rush out of it, so I enjoyed it. Nice little note, free bet.
It can't be fun to bet against Patrick Mahomes' passing yards, though. That's got to be one of the least fun things to bet against.
Yeah, once I actually did it and watched the game, I was like, God, this sucks. I don't want it. I'm not doing this again. I think I'm putting it in my betting rules that I'm not going to do that anymore. It's just not fun.
Sounds very anxious to me. Anyways, should we quickly address the betting results from last week? Not great again for us.
No, 1-2 weekend for me, and I feel like I didn't do well. I feel like you got robbed more so. I just didn't do well. Washington went up 14-0, and I was feeling great. I actually went to bed and woke up in the morning. I was like, oh my God, this ended up being a 1-score game, and Michael Penix didn't throw for any touchdowns. I was like, what the hell is going on here? So that's a tough one. Won Oregon State -4.5 easily. That felt really good. Won a bet on a Friday too. So I was like, this is going to be great energy leading to the weekend. It wasn't. Lost both my weekend picks. So it hurts, but I'm already looking forward to bouncing back.
Yeah. The nice thing for you with the way you give your picks in the newsletter, I feel like is if you have a bad week, it's not like crippling to your whole season. Like I come in with like 5 picks minimum a week plus some special plays. And if I go like 1-4 and lose the special plays, I go from a great record on the year to 500. And that's where we're at.
I get scared. I get scared to do 5.
I respect it. Something responsible about the way you approach it. I just, 2 weeks ago, I was like, hand up, look myself in the mirror. That's on me. I got to be better. Here we are. And then this week, I feel robbed. Like maybe I'm in excuse mode, but I truly feel I deserved significantly better results based on the picks I made, the research that was done, and the way the games played out. Like, I mean, Iowa doesn't cover against Michigan State by half a point, and Cade McNamara died in the middle of the game. Like, I'm not saying he was playing great or he was a killer, but I'm highly confident that Iowa's offense does slightly better, enough to cover half a point more if Cade McNamara doesn't die, because their backup was like an offensive lineman. And then Duke, I mean, I don't want to say it was the right play because they were trailing the entire game, but to have a lead as Duke late in that game and then just need to not give up the 2-point conversion or the touchdown in the final minute, crushing. So yeah, I mean, I was this close. It felt like a 3-2 week based on the picks, honestly. And then in reality, it's 1-4 and hand up. I'm like, what just happened here? It happened so fast. So big week, critical week, back against the wall week yet again. They say I can't lose 3 weeks in a row. That's what they're saying. I'm not saying it, but it's a big week. So
what was the betting over under again for like things I do before the show?
What do you mean?
Like you said, the shtick thing I was doing like before the show.
Oh yeah, I had it at like.
Did I hit the over?
I had it at like 8.5, and I think you hit it at 5, and nothing today.
That's a good segue because you thought it was nothing today, Gregory. Stop it. I'm going over. We're starting with a nice protein shake this morning because we need to be strong, okay? And not only strong physically, because that's what people think protein shakes are all about. It's not just being strong physically. It's also being strong mentally as well. There's all types of benefits to this. It's not just about getting strong. It's not just about lifting weights and things like that. Protein is an absolutely essential part of everyday life, and you need to have it. That's why when you're trying to do things like gain weight, lose weight, do something of that variety, it all starts with protein intake. So we're going to go ahead and get a little scoop to Duke right there. Booty boop. Put that in there. And continue the count for the shtick before the show because I'm going to keep it rolling, honestly. And I'm really, really enjoying this more than you know.
Oh, I think everybody knows how much you're enjoying it after you hit the scoop to doop, boop to boop back to back. I don't think this can count towards the over 8.5 for the record. It's opening the show with it. It's not 10 minutes in busting it out.
Well, I was expecting you to hit me with you got nothing today. So I had to go ahead and make my own magic.
It's a different shtick. It's a whole different concept here. It's not the same shtick. So now you're at 1. If we're starting the new shtick of midway through, you are at 0 for consecutive days opening the episode, and you can't go back in time. That's the thing. There's nothing you can do now to fix that this episode. You already blew it, and we're 10 minutes in. But nice. I appreciate the preparation, and it got a chuckle out of me, and I'm sure it got a chuckle out of the people at home. So good job, Cart. Do you have a comment of the day today? You're doing word of the day also, right? I am on alert. I have my notepad out.
Yes, I am doing word of the day.
Okay, and let's get your comment of the day.
Got it. Let me see here. I want to send a shout out to Indiana fans. They recently found our way into our comments and have led some interesting type things. Quickly want to comment on one of them. Frank Norton was showing CJ Gunn a lot of love. Do we know who CJ Gunn is? CJ Gunn is a bench rotation player, correct?
To start the year, that's the expectation. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'd like to get your comments on this one. CJ Gunn will be very improved. IU's front 6 is the best in the country. Also, Gabe Cupps will be an awesome freshman PG. Come January with the tough non-conference they played, It will pay dividends. Once they gel, watch out. Bold prediction, IU makes it to the Final Four in the NCAA tournament.
It's a bold prediction for sure. I appreciate the fandom. I appreciate the positivity. All good fan bases need that. It's delusional because Indiana's had much better teams in the past decade than they will have this season, and they haven't made a Sweet 16, let alone a Final Four. Could happen. As far as CJ Gunn goes, I would hope he is well improved. He played 20 games last season, 7 minutes a game was the average. Shot 30% from the floor. He shot 2 for 24 from 3-point range. He made 2 of 24 shots from 3. That is significantly worse than you would shoot in 24 attempts from 3. So, no, I'm not excited about CJ Gunn. I'm not expecting anything. Look, there's a CJ Gunn on my team, Michigan, Yusuf Kayet. That's my CJ Gunn. You won't hear me saying Yusuf Kayet will be much improved. If it happens, great. That's a luxury. It's not something you bank on as a staple for the season in the same sentence you say they're going to make a Final Four.
Yeah, there's absolutely no reason to bring me into that with your point, but I do agree.
I'm just saying you'd shoot like 6 for 24 minimum. That's a credit to you.
6 for 24?
Yeah, minimum. Credit to you.
I think my ceiling's 10 for 24. Or my floor is 10 for 24.
Your floor is a 40% shooter?
Am I open?
I don't know. I don't know what CJ Gunn's attempts look like last year. Probably not entirely wide open.
Okay. It's all right. It's not about me. The Gabe Cupps being an amazing freshman point guard thing. I'd like to get clarification on if he is a point guard or not, because some Indiana fans say he is, some say he isn't. Obviously, in today's day of basketball, positionless is the word people like to use, or combo guard. I didn't know Gabe Cupps was a point guard. I know he played it in high school, but he struck me more as a 2 guard for this Indiana team. But I guess we'll see how that plays out. But I respect the optimism from Hoosier Nation. Best front 6 in the country too is crazy statement though, but I really respect the confidence.
Best top 6 or front 6?
Sorry, I might have said front 6 because of basketball. Top 6.
I'm gonna say, if they're talking, we have the best 6 front court players that any team has. Like, pull out the 6 front court guys.
It might be, because he said IU's front 6 is the best in the country. That's got to be front court.
I actually wouldn't fight that. If that's the take, is our 6 front court players are better than any other team's 6 front court players. I think they might have more talent, like Ware, Mbako, Renault, Peyton Sparks, and then I don't know who the other 2 would be. Okay, I'm willing to buy that. Like, Peyton Sparks is the best 4th front court guy in the country. I believe that. I wouldn't be bragging that though. Like, that's the problem with Indiana, isn't the front court, although there's questions about the fit. The problem is Xavier Johnson's all you got in the backcourt. And I like the Gabe Cupps call out because I'm high on him long term, but I don't really see a world where Gabe Cupps and Xavier Johnson work great together in year 1. So if Gabe Cupps is going to be really good, I think that means Xavier Johnson isn't what you think Xavier Johnson could be, and that hurts Indiana.
You got to be really, really good too to get the notion of being a great freshman point guard in the Big Ten. You got to do some things that are pretty special.
Yeah, like, would you say, looking back last year, would you say Doug McDaniel was a great freshman point guard?
No, but I say he was. But I would give him like the good.
Would you say Braden Smith was a great freshman point guard?
I actually would, yeah.
Would you say Bruce Thornton was a great freshman point guard?
I would say good, lean towards great towards the end, but it didn't lead to team success.
Okay, so I don't think Gabe Cupps is going to touch any of those 3s outputs. So I just wanted to get a barometer there. I'm with you. I would probably say Braden Smith was great. The other 2 were good. Isn't that like a best case scenario for Gabe Cupps, is like a Doug McDaniel year in year 1? Yeah, I don't see it.
Okay.
No harsh
comment for today.
All right. Thanks, Hoosiers. Thank you, Hoosier Nation.
Thank you, Ken Norton.
Ken Norton. Yes. Appreciate you. Let's go to the Discord, where, again, big weekend in the Discord, a lot of discussion in there, and a flurry of signups last week, which was fantastic to see. We even have a Discord guy of the week that we will wrap the comments today with, from Ulamog. He is taking his job seriously as crowning a Discord member of the week. So excited for that. But we started these are all comments from last Friday's episode. We had Dion Hillford, aka that boy D Hill, great friend of ours, on the show on Riley Friday, filling in for Riley Davis. And we had a lot of Lions talk going on, some Deion Sanders talk. Before I get to the comments, can we just address, like, pat me on the back for a moment? The fact that you said Colorado would only score 10 points in that game was ludicrous.
Oh yeah, absolutely asinine comment by myself.
Okay.
Can't believe I brought myself to say it. I apologize.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That is the one thing that's been able to keep my morale lifted, is that I absolutely nailed Colorado getting to 30 on that USC defense. So great job, me. Horrible job, you. Let's get to the comments. Fam starts the show off and says, love the individual sports talk. Another great appearance from Dion, even though I'm low-key #shook. I didn't at least snag an honorable mention on the white boy rankings. Enjoy España, mi amigo. If you're looking to load up the itinerary, I lived there for 6 months and am always happy to throw out suggestions. Fam, just want to say this. Fam keeps dropping nuggets of his identity. Like and Fam, I think, wants to keep his identity unknown, but the more he gives us, like, oh, I lived in Spain for 6 months, I think there's a path to know. I think I know who Fam is.
Yeah, honestly, for the folks who enjoy the Trilly Donovans of the world on Twitter, we have our own little Discord Trilly. No one knows. I actually responded to that comment. I was like, Fam, I couldn't add you to the white boy rankings because, I'd be honest, I didn't even know you were white. Like, that's where we're at right now. We don't know the identity of him, but I feel like he's going to slip up one day. I feel like
I think I know already, and I think if I wanted to confirm if the person I think is Fam, I could just check his Facebook and see if he lived in Spain for 6 months. Like, I think it's right there for the taking. But out of respect for Fam, I'm not going to do that. But yeah, again, just dropping nuggets. Like, I'm on to you, Fam. Trilly's not out here on Twitter like, oh, I lived in Boca Raton for 6 months. Like, it's not like that, you know? Got to keep things secret if you want to be a secret Fam. Jay Meisner, just want to make sure I got that right. Did get it right.
You did get it right.
Said thanks for the Arizona love. We should know how good they actually are pretty soon in the season. We will talk about Arizona much more as we get closer to college basketball and into the season, I'm sure. Again, a team that was so near and dear to our hearts last year. It's going to be quite an adjustment for me, just with the presence of Caleb Love, because there's no one in the country I want to root against more other than Hunter Dickinson than Caleb Love. And I love Tommy Lloyd and I love everybody else on Arizona. So I don't know what to do with that, you know?
Were you not moved by the clip that was circulating of him? Maybe it was at like some type of Midnight Madness event for Arizona, and Caleb Love seemingly couldn't miss in a 3-point contest.
I was shook by that. Not moved. I was shook. Shook in a selfish way. Like, that was mine. I was supposed to have access to that. And I didn't even want access to that, but I was supposed to have it, damn it. And he's gone, and he never even came, and I'm hurt. And now I'm just, man, like, isn't Michigan pretty good? Like, if Caleb Love was actually on their team, aren't they actually pretty good?
I was going to say, what's going to hurt more? Like, the fact, if Caleb Love does have a good season, will it hurt more that Caleb Love actually had like a good season, or the fact that it could have happened for Michigan? Like, what will hurt more?
The fact that it could happen for Michigan, for sure. Oh, okay. I don't have anything truly personal against Caleb Love. I just don't love the way he plays. That's it. There's a lot of guys in the country I feel that way about. He just does it louder than everybody else. But with Michigan, there's going to be a gaping hole in the Michigan starting lineup. We know that. A Caleb Love-sized hole. And if Caleb Love's like an 18-a-game guy on a really good Arizona team, I'm going to be devastated, man. Like, I mean, I don't know. Imagine it. Doug, Caleb Love, Burnett, Kamwa, Reed is a nasty team probably. And instead, we're scrapping together either Llewellyn or Kyatt or George Washington III. I can't wait. Coy says, so Kansas only has 10 scholarship players. One is supposed to redshirt. Does that matter? We're going to talk Kansas later in this episode, although I don't know how much we're going to talk the broader roster. Do you want to quickly comment on that?
Yeah, I just want to say, as far as only having that many scholarship players, the only thing it does is make the margin for error just a little less. With what their team previously was kind of made up of. I thought they had numbers where they could maybe, whether it be injury or guys in a slump, it could be like a next guy up. This guy can pick that guy up, pick up the slack. Now they need to remain extremely healthy, and guys have to play to the level that is kind of expected of them coming into the season, or things could go south very, very quickly. And I think we mentioned on the last episode, the thing about Kansas is we don't know. Well, actually, we do know. I know what a team looks like when adversity hits Hunter Dickinson. I know what that looks like, and it doesn't look pretty. And he's on that basketball team. So obviously, Bill Self can be the Band-Aid to cover that up. But I'm just speaking from what we've seen in the past. We've seen what it happens when Hunter Dickinson is hit with adversity as far as team success. It does not look pretty typically.
Yeah, I think people are kind of downplaying that. Like, I think people think we're kidding or we're just being harsh when we're like, Hunter's between the ears stuff matters to a team that needs him every single rep, every second. Like, maybe he can do it. I would genuinely, honestly, probably like to see him do it because I don't know. I don't hold anything against Hunter at a personal level, and it would be good for him to go out on a high note for sure. But I think the concept of him working at Kansas to me was always built around they need less from him. Like, just show up, get your 20, and they've got leaders. They've got other guys who can do other things. Now those guys are starting to dwindle. Like, we're running out of those numbers. So now it turns to, we need you every game, Hunter. We need you to be our best player every game. And that gets scarier and scarier as you go. You said they are one controversial podcast episode and or turned ankle away from possible spiraling. That's a hilarious comment, but I think it's accurate. Tristan linked the UConn announcement that Donovan Clingan suffered a foot strain. He's expected to miss about a month. We thought about doing a full segment on this, but kind of realized there's not much to say about it. It's just a bummer. Like, I feel for UConn fans. I feel for Clingan himself. They're obviously worse without him, and this is a big shift. But any comments additionally on Clingan's injury?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you see a big man have a foot injury, it just automatically just gets the PTSD going inside my head, and I never feel good about it. At least, looking on the bright side, it's a foot strain. If I heard anything about broken foots or anything like that, I would be in full-on panic mode if I was a UConn fan. But this also led me to looking at like UConn's other front court options, and my word, they're bare. Unless like guys are going to take some jumps, and I've seen some UConn fans mention guys like Samson Johnson to make some jumps. I believe that's his name. But golly, they have a lot riding on Clingan and him playing heavy minutes, and him missing a month with a foot injury, a foot strain, is just not something you want to see as a UConn fan. That's the last person you want to see have an issue.
Yeah, it's not great. Samson Johnson, name like that, you're going to be fine. I think he's played 2 years there and hasn't really done anything. If his name was anything other than Samson Johnson, I'd be a little concerned, but I like him.
You're in.
I'm just in. Yeah, no, they need Clingan. I mean, and like RIP to anyone who bet Clingan National Player of the Year. Tough. Can't miss a month and have a chance. Congratulations to anybody who bet Edey at plus 200 or Purdue to win the Big Ten at plus 200.
Not a calendar podcast, not a math podcast. Is he going to miss games?
Yeah, he's supposed to miss a month on paper.
But I mean, the first game's November, right? November 6th? I mean, he might miss like an exhibition.
I was reading this as he was expected to miss a month of the season.
Oh, no, I thought it was he's going to miss a month, like leading up to the season.
See, I totally am interpreting this a different way.
Okay, but this was an argument on Twitter, by the way, because people couldn't figure out what they were trying to say, and they still haven't cleared it up necessarily. But I believe that he's just going to miss the month of October, so this whole month leading up into the season.
I think you're right. I think I'm wrong. I think you are the official Sleepers injury expert.
I don't want to be.
I think you are.
Okay.
I hope that's the case. I hope that he can play right away because I'm excited for Donovan Clingan this year. Basketball Jones says D Hill's Shedeur is not very good is a wild take. I've got him as one of the 2.5 good players on this entire team. Yeah, that was a wild Dion take, which is why we love Dion. He throws wild takes out there. Shedeur is very good.
Yeah, yeah, very good.
Like extremely good. Ethan Basilla said Noah Kim greater than.
I think I'd take Shedeur.
I think so too. more on Michigan State's quarterbacks later this episode. Going to try to end without Carter blocking my number. Dion jumped in and said, it doesn't take long for me to go to either extreme. Next week, Shedeur could be a first-round pick for me.
That's very true.
It's extremely accurate. And then he responded to Fam, who told him he was sad he wasn't on the white boy rankings. Dion said, I didn't know you were white. Noted for next week, bro. So we've received a text from Dion this morning. He wants to merge his rankings with your rankings. And Fam, I can confirm sources that you are on the current proposed list. So big strides from Fam this week. Great job. Coy has a comment on Shedeur. He says, I think he does hold on to the ball too long, and that leads to sacks.
I would say that, but also he always has someone in his face immediately. The one thing I will say about Shedeur that I wonder, I thought he was a lot faster. Does he seem slow to you?
I can't figure out his running side of his game because week 1, I bet him to score an anytime touchdown. I thought it was going to be great, like lock, and they were in the red zone constantly, and he just never looked to run when it was like very easy, like walk-in touchdowns were available. So I don't know if it's like a mental thing or if it's actually that he's slow. I think it's one of the two, and I don't know which one it is.
Yeah, or maybe not necessarily slow, just not as fast as I was led on for him to be.
Yeah, it's weird because he has a lot of like throw on the move mobility and like I think he holds on to it, but I think in general like his pocket awareness is pretty good. Just I don't know, something's up. He's not like the most mobile guy for being good at some elements of being mobile. Tristan says if the worst team in the NFL offers the number 1 pick (parentheses Caleb Williams) for Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Aiden Hutchinson, should the Lions say yes?
No.
It's one of the worst trade offers I've ever heard.
Yeah, like, damn, all 3?
Like, we're on pace to go like 11 and whatever this year. Like, we're on pace to be an 11-win football team this year. And you want us to blow that up for the prospect that Caleb Williams might be Pat Mahomes?
Right. And that Caleb Williams will be throwing to Khalif Raymond, Josh Reynolds, and like.
There are teams that I think should take this approach, though. Like, for example, I'm terrified that the Chicago Bears are going to get Caleb Williams. I'm absolutely terrified of that.
You don't think Justin Fields is going to play well enough for them to keep him?
No, I think so I am pro Fields. Like I have him in a lot of fantasy leagues. I was high on his possibilities of being an MVP this season. Genuinely, I think he's a good quarterback. I think the Bears' problems are much bigger beyond Justin Fields' performance. The problem is I don't think Justin Fields can hit the press conference and blame the coaches and keep this job. Like if your quarterback's going public saying this is all the coach's fault and setting a tone for a locker room that now has Chase Claypool doing the same thing, and the team's going to go 2-15, yeah, you're gone. Like if the Bears have a chance to get Drake May or Caleb Williams and their quarterback's shitting on the staff, he's out. And I don't know what world Justin Fields lives in right now. Like I would be clinging to this job. Like I would be very aware that they could make a decision to cut me immediately. And maybe that flips later on in the season, but I think it's pretty obvious at this point the Bears are going to be one of the 3 worst teams in the league. So,
okay, two things on that quickly. One, quick rule of thumb: if your quarterback's acting like Chase Claypool, you're not in a good position. That's consistent with throughout the NFL. If he's acting like Chase Claypool, you're not in a good spot. 2, flip side, conspiracy theory, put your tinfoil hat on. Justin Fields wants out. He's sick of Chicago. He's like, go ahead and take Caleb. Let Caleb deal with this. Because it's not a great situation. And also, the story also came out with Caleb Williams' pops. Like, if we're going to go to a bad situation, I'll come back to USC. And he could be looking at Chicago like, I don't want to go there.
Yeah, I think situations flip, though. Like, I don't know. They fire their coach. I think that's a much different. Like, Chicago's a big market. I think a lot of guys would want to play there. I don't think that's one they would turn down. I think if it was like, I don't know what a small market, like if Cleveland stumbled, I could see them being like, no, thanks. I'm going back to LA. Okay. But Chicago, I think they're there. Malik Perry said if Colorado can get some more good players, they could be really good. I think a lot of guys would go there for multiple reasons. 100% agree, Malik. I'm I mean, Dion said it himself, get him while you can. I mean, and people wrote him off. They said, oh, it's Oregon. Now it's going to happen every single week. Nah, that was a one possession game with a minute left to play against a team that has the Heisman quarterback and a lot of people think can make the college football playoff. Keith Johnson said, Dion's take on Dan Campbell is scorching hot. My gut reaction was disgust, but hearing his point, I'm actually a believer. As Greg said, Dan is the man at this particular time. He's been great for it. He's not a Super Bowl caliber coach. We are a top tier team now. We need to stop thinking like a poverty franchise.
I got no comments on that. That was a bar. That's facts.
I just want to give Dan the season because I think there is a
100%.
world. There's a world where Dan is beyond what we're saying he's capable of. That's it. He also says the Gibbs talk is fair criticism. He was a miss. Imagine if we got another elite pass rusher to balance Hutchinson. Gibbs is a rookie, so it could pan out, but right now it looks like a reach in the draft.
Yeah, definitely does.
Yeah, Isaiah Pacheco last night, 7th round, rookie pick, 80 yards rushing, 50 yards receiving. Just get a guy in the 7th round. Like, I'm sorry. I get, like, we don't need to rehash it, but they drafted fantastic overall. I'm not complaining. Running back at 12 is a little cringy. Ethan Basila said, I think if you compare our roster to Super Bowl contenders roster, we are still rather far behind. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, just because I look at teams like the 49ers, and that's a team to me like with no really gaping holes. And teams that do have some, I guess, gaping holes have generational quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes. So we definitely have holes on our team, I still think, but I don't know. Like I could squint and see a world where this is a Super Bowl roster, though. Like really good offensive line, some good weapons, improved secondary. Like the fact that I don't think anyone has brought it up yet, but the fact that we don't mention Cam Sutton at all on a week-to-week basis is just credit to him that he's doing extremely well. And he's not Armani Oruwariye. Like that's a huge upgrade of that position. The injuries hurt. CJ Gardner-Johnson obviously being out is absolutely massive. Thank God Brian Branch is okay. My young king is still here and balling. Why was he in the game in the fourth quarter, Dan Campbell? Why do you do shit like that and stress my heart? But I don't know. Like I don't know if it's a stretch to say that this team can't be a Super Bowl roster.
Yeah, I agree with that. Also, what a dog, Brian Branch carted off and said, no, let me tape the shit up. I got more tackles to make. Incredible stuff. Yeah, I think the truth about the NFL is I don't think there is an elite team. And I think the closest two teams that you would say are elite and complete are Buffalo and Philly. And I think those teams.
Would you throw the Niners in there too?
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Let's call it a 3-tier of quote unquote complete football teams: San Francisco, Philly, and Buffalo. And I think all three of those teams are very good. I think all three of those teams should be the favorites to win the Super Bowl. Obviously, 2 of those teams are in the NFC. That's unfortunate, but I think a lot of teams can beat those teams any given day. And I would throw the Lions in the group with like Miami and Kansas City that could do that. Obviously, Pat Mahomes is Pat Mahomes. I think if you were picking out of that group, who would you rather have in the playoffs? You start with Pat Mahomes because he can just do whatever he wants. But we're living in a world where the Cincinnati Bengals were in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. And look at them now. I get it's a much different team, but I don't think you need to be a loaded team to stumble your way to a Super Bowl in this current era of the NFL. And the Lions are certainly in the mix. They're going to have a great chance to get a bye in the playoffs. If they're not in a bye, I like their chances anyway. Like put us up against anybody.
Home playoff game.
Put us up against anybody, man. I'm not saying like I want San Francisco or Philly. Like those teams are better football teams than Detroit to me, but I'm not running from those games this season. Like
only people I'm running from is the Seahawks. Absolutely running from them.
Yeah, I don't ever want to see them again.
Never again.
Basketball Jones said, if I gave you the Big East minus 21.5, not knowing yet which teams will make the Big Ten East minus 21.5, not knowing which teams will make the Big Ten championship yet. Would you take that line or would you take the West plus 21.5? So college football, Big Ten championship game. You could take whoever wins the East minus 21.5, or you could take whoever wins the West plus 21.5.
Ooh.
It's a great question.
I'd probably take minus 21.5, to be honest.
I would too.
Yeah, I can't think of who would be the team that would cover that.
The only team, I think the favorite in the West at this point is Wisconsin. I would be surprised if they don't win that division. And I think Wisconsin is good enough to cover 21 against all three of those teams. But on the off chance you get anybody but Wisconsin, I think the line would open at like 27. It's crazy. Times are bad, man. Times are bad. Luckily, this is the final year of it. Couple quick ones, 2 more left. Keith Johnson said, would you be in favor of rivalry trophies in basketball? I get most rivalries play twice, which makes it feel different, but I feel like something could be worked out. Or how about teams in the Champions Classic? We only play them once every 2 years.
Quickly, I'm not a fan of rivalry trophies. Not a fan of them, to be honest. I'm just not in, like, the jug, the lumberjack. I'm just not in on any of that.
That's interesting to me. Was there ever a trophy for anything you played for?
There was, like, when you played like the hopes of the world, there was like some type of, I don't know,
the iron jug,
like artifact or something, like anything. No, I don't like playing for the trophy in a rivalry.
All right. Why do I feel like we need to come up with some stupid name for like a sleepers cup that is given to somebody? I don't know. I'm gonna think on this a little more, but I play for a trophy every time I play my dad in golf. We golf like once a week, but it's for a cup every single time. And
every time
the reigning champ holds the cup, keeps it at their house. It's pretty fun. I am a cup guy. I would say I was trying to think of this with basketball because I liked the question. I thought my answer would be yes. And then I started thinking of all these iconic moments in rivalries through my life in college basketball. And I think all of them become infinitely more lame if there's a trophy at the end of it. And I don't know what that is, but I'm just like a huge shot that a Carolina player made to beat Duke. And then they're like hoisting a trophy in a regular season game after, just feels super wrong to me. So I would vote no on that. I am a proponent of doing something in the non-conference. Like, I think the Champions Classic or some of these other tournaments, I think should be like, you got to win to stay in. That's what I would like to see. And maybe there's a celebration that like the team that won Maui gets to return to Maui for the next 4 years or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So it's like a 4-team bracket. The 2 teams in the championship of the Champions Classic make it for next year.
Yeah.
The other 2 teams play in a game. That team, the winner of the 3rd place, stays in for the next season. Yeah. And they bring in another team.
Yeah. 100%. There's a lot of ways to do that in creative ways that don't take a lot of like effort. Yeah, just kind of structured the way we have the relegation system in college or in soccer. Or I even said, like, I think the Champions Classic is fine. I love the event for what it is. But if it was truly a Champions Classic, it would be the 4 most recent national champions. Like, you win a national championship, now you get 4 years of invites to the Champions Classic.
Or even like another wrinkle, like in soccer, they take the winner of the Europa League and they play the winner of the Champions League for like a type, like that type of situation. Like, you throw the last 3 national champions and then throw the winner of the NIT in there or something.
Yeah. There's ways to get creative. Call us. We're on the line. Call us. Final comment of the day. It's Ulamog's Discord guy of the week. Drum roll, please. Discord guy of the week goes to Coy. With the cold DMing members, I'm pretty sure he drove the most signups since the first 2 weeks of the Discord. Also for offering to help with Ryan's studies. Don't pay for LinkedIn Premium. The real networking is the Sleepers Discord. Congratulations, Coy. It was always Coy, if we're being honest.
It was always Coy.
I believe Coy was the first winner of our Sleepy Award for Sleepers Fan of the Year.
Sleeper of the Year. Yes, he was.
Yeah. Incredible stuff from Coy. You just got to love it, man. Like, this is where it would start for me too. Like, I'm glad Coy got some recognition. I hope everybody else in the Discord gets recognition too, because there's a lot of people that deserve it. I'd also like to call out Travis Nelson with a really heartwarming comment this week in the Discord. He said, I just need to say he needs a place for sports thoughts, and this is the perfect place. I really appreciate all you guys in here and the Sleepers fandom we share. Like, I saw that at 10 p.m. on a Saturday night, and the heartstrings got tugged. Shout out to you, Travis Nelson. And shout out to everybody in the Discord. We're feeling the love. We're feeling the support. And anybody not in the Discord, we'd love to see you in there. It certainly would help us a ton. So we're having fun. You can join the Discord. The link is in the description of every video that we do. Okay. We got to try and make these episodes quicker. We've been trying. That's feedback from my mother-in-law also. But yet again, here we are halfway through the episode. And
Tammy?
Yeah, we got together with the fam. She was like, you gotta trim these episodes, Greg.
All right. We tried though. We're trying.
just so much fun stuff to talk about. We're trying. All right. New deadline is 11:15. That's the new deadline.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
I'm still shooting for 11:05.
I want to start today's episode talking about the Arterio Morris situation at Kansas. For those that are unaware, Arterio Morris has been dismissed from the Kansas basketball program. This comes after Arterio has been named and accused of a rape that has happened on Kansas's campus. This is a new incident and not the incident that Arterio was originally in hot water for during his time at Texas, where he was accused of a misdemeanor charge. I believe it was an assault charge. So pretty messy situation here. Arterio Morris no longer on Kansas for the season. Obviously, that has an impact on their basketball side of things. It's also a pretty crazy situation as far as I can't believe they let him on this team in the first place. And I have some thoughts on it all, but I'll just throw it to you. Where do you want to start with this? What's kind of the big, I don't know if there's a takeaway or what. What's your thought on the Arterio Morris Kansas?
So I have three main takeaways from this. One, I'll start on a positive note. Good on Kansas for actually doing the process, kicking them off the team, not stringing this along. I think they acted pretty promptly on handling the situation and actually removing him from the team and doing all that. My second point, I also think that Kansas should be held accountable somewhat. And I don't know if this is a universal take, but if you accept a player who has this type of history and had these type of situations, allegations against him, I think that you should somewhat be held accountable if it happens again at your, under your watch. Now I'm not saying they can like keep an eye on him 24/7 and have full blame for this, but you knew what he was accused of before he went there, and then he goes there and he damn near does it again. So to me, some accountability, and I don't know what the actual phrase I would use for it is like, but I think that Kansas has to feel somewhat responsible for this, even if it's in a very minuscule way. And then the third thing about it is just from a basketball perspective, this really hurts Kansas. Like I thought in the preseason, Arterio Morris was playing well in the Bahamas trip. He looked to be a guy who was actually knocking down shots as well. And, for all the things that people said about Kansas, and is Timberlake going to be a guy who can shoot it? Is Elmarko Jackson going to be a guy who can shoot it? Arterio Morris was that other guy who they kind of put into the fold of being able to be a shooter and a scorer for this basketball team. So I think it really hurts them, and it puts a lot of pressure on Elmarko Jackson and Nick Timberlake to produce at a high level now. So it definitely hurts them. And I don't know if this, relates apples to apples, but probably like 5, maybe even almost like 7 years ago, something like that, Michigan State football took a defensive end who literally had like a sexual assault charge in high school, came to Michigan State's campus, happened again on Michigan State's campus. Like, and then when that happened, I was like, this is somewhat of a black eye on the Michigan State football coaches and program, because they knew what this kid did in high school. Credit to them for giving him a second chance, but when he does it at the same time under your watch, I feel like you're somewhat responsible for it.
Yes, I agree. I don't have much as far as basketball that I care about in this situation. I think Arterio Morris was going to be good. I thought he was great on the overseas trip. Obviously, losing a player that you expected to maybe be your starting shooting guard and at worst be your sixth man is impactful and problematic for the Kansas basketball team. I am kind of baffled by the way this news has been, I guess, relayed publicly to people. Like, I'm very confused why there isn't more outrage about this. And I don't want to just go like screaming outrage or play like your tragedy versus my tragedy here. But I'm trying to imagine, like, if this had happened to Tom Izzo, he's getting crucified. And I'm not a Michigan State basketball fan, but I can accurately assess the way the media has covered things like this with Tom Izzo in the past. And look, I think Tom Izzo has made mistakes with giving guys second chances and overlooking some serious things. And I think the media has correctly covered those as far as the problems with that. They've also accused him of doing some things he had nothing to do with. Like, they've accused him of being a part of a cultural toxicity at Michigan State that has nothing to do with Tom Izzo. And man, like, Bill Self knew this guy had an assault charge. Like, the allegations were horrible at the time. He was allowed to play all of last season at Texas, and then it's like they didn't care. And then they brought him here, and there's an immediate rape. Like, within months of being at camp, there's a rape. That's horrible. And I feel like the way this is being covered is not at all like, this is a really bad look for Bill Self, or why did Bill Self do this, or Kansas enabled this to happen. None of that's been said. Honestly, the only person I've heard say that at all is Rob Doster. And I give Rob a lot of credit for saying it. I think his mentions were pretty toxic, but I'm just baffled. I'm baffled because I think there's a lot of other coaches in the country that if they make this mistake and this is the result, they are under fire. It's front page ESPN News. And I cannot figure out why that's not the case with Bill Self. I know
that's why.
Because he's the best coach in the sport, so he can do whatever he wants.
That's why it's awful. Like, literally, it's awful. That's the reason that nothing's being said about it, because it is Bill Self. And honestly, a lot of the media members that I saw, it was all praising Bill Self, actually, which is even crazier to me. They're praising Bill Self for, acting swiftly, getting rid of him, doing all this, and doing the right thing, when it was very public information what Arterio Morris did, especially on the it was very nasty stuff. I'm not going to dive into the details of it, but what he was accused of and the evidence that was presented was extremely disgusting stuff. I was very surprised he even played at Texas, to be honest. I mean, not as surprised when I saw who their head coach was before Rodney Terry, but it was pretty nasty stuff. So I don't know. I think Bill Self took an extreme risk by taking Arterio Morris, by the way, and it's blowing up in his face. But it's really not blowing up in his face, kind of to what you're pointing to. Like, people are, it's really not even in the news, I feel like.
Yeah, it's like the slant on the news here is just like, oh, Arterio's dismissed. Like, there's a lot more to this story than just that to me, and I don't get why no one wants to talk about it. I don't even know what I'm like. It's not like I want Bill Self to be like horrifically punished in any way for this. I think it was a really bad look, and we're kind of acting like it wasn't a bad look, and that's weird. To me, I don't know. I'm all for, like, okay, give guys second chances, whatever. They're young, they're college kids. I don't really think you deserve a second chance if you're accused of something involving like harassment, assault charges to women. I just don't. And if you want to call me crazy for that, whatever. We're not necessarily trying to make moral judgments across the board, but that is one thing I just don't think we need to give kids second chances for. I feel pretty strongly about that. And that applies in other sports. Like, I'm bummed out that Miles Bridges is just like back. I'm bummed out about that.
Redacted.
I'm bummed out that there's a lot of guys, a lot of athletes that seem to just be giving chance after chance that make mistakes like this. And it's frustrating to me that it's happening at the college level. It's frustrating to me that it's happening beyond that. It's not good. It's incredibly easy to not assault people. It's incredibly easy to not hit women. It's incredibly easy to be the adult in the room and not want people that hit women associated with your program. And I wish we would do that.
It's a nasty double standard. It truly is. It's nasty. You go back to the Chris Beard thing. Nasty double standard. Dude strangled his wife and beat his wife, and people are talking about, it happens. People are in relationships, arguments happen. We don't know what their relationship's like. A year later, he's getting a huge bag at Ole Miss.
Yeah, just be better collectively, sports institutions. Like, I feel like there's so much ickiness involved across the board right now, and it's bothersome to me. So, all right, not exactly great vibes to start off the show. Kansas basketball will be very good, but I do think there's an element of this that's going to hang over the season, man. There's a lot of weird shit going on with personalities in that locker room, and I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how they recover from losing Arterio Morris, because it could definitely have damaging effects. Let's move to football. The rest of this episode is going to be college football based. We'll get back to basketball stuff likely later in the week. We're going to have another list of guys starting tomorrow. I can't wait for it. And some news to drop later in the week with another Sleepers edition. But for today, we're going to talk about Michigan football, and then we're going to talk about Michigan State football a little bit as well. Michigan football. Are they the best team in the country? Because it feels to me like this team is very good, as they've been the last couple years. Obviously, they have the big names on the offensive side of the football. J.J. McCarthy, for the most part, looks great this season. Blake Corum is back. He's fantastic. Roman Wilson has emerged. He leads the country in receiving touchdowns. That's a three-headed monster that I would put up there with pretty much any team in the country. And it's not just skill position guys. Like, they're pretty good in the trenches. They're winning games the Michigan way, the ugly, just grind you down, suffocate you on defense, etc. Like, Michigan football is for real. They've been for real, and they're here to stay. That's how I feel about this team. The interesting thing to me is that for the first time that Michigan's been really good, you look around the country and everybody looks vulnerable. Like, Georgia is almost losing to Peyton Thorne. And like, Brock Bowers had to go superhuman Gronk mode to save them from that disaster. Alabama's down. I think Texas is probably the other team you'd throw out as maybe the best team in the country. And I mean, Texas was in a dogfight with Kansas in the third quarter without
Florida State dogfight with Boston College, and had some breaks in the Clemson game.
Yeah. And then you look back, like, a lot of Michigan's biggest threats, I think, are in this division. They have to get through Penn State, who has looked really good, but again, dogfight with Northwestern for much of this game. And Ohio State looks really good. That win against Notre Dame is really going to matter for them, I think, looking down the road. Like, had they lost that game, I think it's a totally different season for them. So I don't know. I see this as a door is wide open for the first time in Jim Harbaugh's tenure at Michigan, even with how good those teams have been. I think the door is wide open. Do you think that that is the correct read on Michigan's place in college football this season?
Yeah, no, I think it is. And I think that the emphasis should be put on more so about the door being open outside of Michigan's football team actually being good, because they're always good. Like, they were good last year. They were good the year before that. It was just that there was no team in the country that was beating the Georgias. Like, there was no teams in the country that were beating these other teams. And I think that Michigan is a team that they're really good, but they do have flaws as well. But they're very minuscule, I would say. Like, it'd be like a nitpicking type thing. Like, last year, it was so special before Corum got hurt that Corum and Edwards are like damn near two of the best running backs in the country. Edwards hasn't been able to get it going this season. Obviously, it hasn't affected them up to this point, just because they've been able to do other things. Roman Wilson stepped up on the outside. J.J. McCarthy has been pretty solid, pretty good as well. So I don't want to say solid to come across as hating. J.J. McCarthy has been good outside of the Bowling Green game, which he was still good. He just threw picks.
Yep.
But the only thing I'll push back on is that this just can't be the number one team in the country, because they have not played anybody. Unfortunately, like, they haven't played anybody. Yes, it is a road game at Nebraska. Nebraska is never an easy place to play. Michigan fans know that all too well. Not an easy place to play. Nebraska is a bad football team, and I can look at other teams and just go win for win type situation. I just think it's a team that deserves to be ahead of them. Like, Florida State beat LSU on a neutral. Florida State beat Clemson at Clemson, very tough place to play. So just at this point, not to Michigan's fault, I just can't put like those teams above a Texas either. Texas wins at Alabama. Alabama might be down in some people's eyes, but they're still a really good football team. And they went into Tuscaloosa and won. Like, you just can't go win for win and matchup for matchup in my head and put Michigan above those teams as far as rankings. But that's not to take away from Michigan actually looking around the country and being like, this is our season to get these guys, because we actually do have a good football team. And I don't think the country has that dominant, absolutely juggernaut football team this year.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I am not here to advocate for them being the number one team in the country. I think it's a Georgia spot until Georgia blows it. And I don't think like grinding out a rivalry win on the road against Auburn to me isn't like, oh, they need to drop in the rankings. They didn't play great and they look vulnerable, but they're still the number one team in the country until proven otherwise. This Michigan team, to me, they feel a little top heavy. Like I think their big names are superstars, and that's great. Like defensively, they've held every single team they've played 5 games. Nobody scored more than 7 points against them. I don't know if that's because I think this defense is elite or if it's because of the teams they're playing. It's probably a mix. Like, I don't know if UNLV or Nebraska would get to 28 against anybody, and they got to 7 against Michigan. Is that a credit to Michigan, or is it I don't know. Is it damaging to who they were playing? It's probably a mix of both, but it like just the names on defense of this team don't scare me as much as the last couple seasons. Like I know they're playing great, but I don't view this defense as having like 3 to 4 guys that I think could be NFL guys defensively the way they've had the last couple of years. And then offensively, like I said, those 3 guys are phenomenal. Corum, McCarthy, Wilson, I think is probably the best 3-headed trio at those 3 positions any team has on the offensive side of the football, other than maybe one of the Pac-12 teams. But outside of that, I'm a little scared. I don't think their receiving threats are much of a threat at all. Like Cornelius Johnson's the second best receiver on this team. He has 1 touchdown on the year. Roman Wilson has 8. Colston Loveland, I think, is emerging and looks great as a tight end. But to me, the receiver group is a little bit down, and this is going to sound crazy. I don't even really think Roman Wilson's that good. I know he's had some highlight catches, and his numbers are stupid, but I think like there's a world where they play Penn State at night at Penn State, or they play Ohio State, and the team just says, we're just going to take away Roman Wilson.
Yeah, Roman Wilson would be the third. Like Roman Wilson, no disrespect to him, I just don't think he's the number 1 receiver on like a national championship college football level team.
Yeah. And his numbers back it up. Like his numbers are video game numbers. They're stupid. But I still view him as a guy as a great defense could take him away. And if they take him away, what happens? Like, I don't love the secondary options here. Donovan Edwards, it looks horrible, for lack of a better word. And it hasn't mattered because he's their backup running back. They have Corum, and they're up 30 in all these games. But, like, Donovan Edwards is not running the ball the way he has in the last 2 seasons. He's averaging 3.3 yards per carry this year. It's 2.5 yards less than Blake Corum is per touch. Last year, it was very much like a thunder and lightning. You got to sprinkle them both in, and it's dynamic. This year, it's like we're trying to give Donovan Edwards the ball because he's Donovan Edwards, and he's not doing anything with it. So I don't know. I just like they feel thin. Like outside of those 3 guys, I'm worried about what happens if either like someone takes away Roman Wilson, or God forbid somebody just struggles or goes down or has a hiccup here. I don't love the options outside of that. Now it's nitpicking because Michigan's really damn good. They're probably the favorite in every game they play this season. But to me, yeah, in the question of like, is it their title to lose? Are they the favorite? I think it comes down more to the teams outside of them and health for Michigan than it does like Michigan taking a leap forward beyond what they've been the last couple of years. Let me ask you this. If you had to you have to pick one team in the country in college football, and if you correctly assess the team and you pick the winner who will win the national champion, you get $100,000. If you don't, you can't see your dog for the next calendar year. You have to give me an answer too. You're not pressed out and not giving me an answer. What is the team that you pick? Because if I'm being honest, it's either Michigan or Ohio State for me.
Not a Big Ten team for me.
Really?
No. I think I go Florida State. I think I go Florida State.
Say goodbye to your dog, man. I'm sorry.
Say goodbye to your dog.
He's gonna be in good hands. That's all I'm saying. Like, but man, Florida State, they're your favorite to win the national championship.
Yeah.
I mean, Cade Klubnik had them in hell,
and they won.
Okay. I would be very surprised if Florida State makes the playoff, let alone wins it all.
Really?
Like I think they're going to drop one at some point.
They'll be there.
Okay. All right. Maybe I got to tap in and buy into Florida State a little more. The obvious answer to me would have been Georgia still, if not this. But I think if you're skeptical of Georgia, I think it's got to be Michigan or Ohio State.
No, I think I'll go. Georgia would probably be my second choice. I'm baffled that these great SEC teams are ending up with quarterbacks like Carson Beck and Jalen Milroe. Like, what do we do? Like, can't you not go get any quarterback you want?
Yeah, it feels like they didn't play the transfer market great this year.
Yeah, like, why is Sam Hartman not at Alabama right now?
Somebody really dropped the bag, not just stealing Drake May. I know there were rumors on that, but like, good Lord, walk into whatever Tobacco Road, walk right down that road, pull up in your Argyle striped sweaters and rip that man away from Chapel Hill.
I don't think he could have, though. Didn't he transfer from Bama?
Drake May?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, no, he did.
He transferred from Bama to North Carolina?
Yes.
No, he decommitted.
Oh, he did?
I think.
Oh, I thought he transferred from Bama.
Says he flipped his commitment from Alabama to North Carolina.
Okay, my apologies.
But then this offseason, he turned down 2 $5 million deals.
That's crazy.
Well, yeah.
All right, I might be I might be out on Drake May because I don't know if his decision making is good. That's crazy. Yeah, that's wild.
So, okay, my final college football at large take that I think does play into Michigan a little bit here. I think given the fact that there is no dominant team across the board, like Georgia's good. They're still probably the team to beat to me, but I think they could lose to anybody. Like there's 7 teams I think could beat Georgia any given day. I think when we get to the college football playoff, when it's just 4 teams left, whoever the 4 teams are, you can pick them out of the hat. You're going to have at least one from the SEC, at least one from the Big Ten, probably the ACC winner, probably the Pac-12 winner, if somebody runs the table. There you go. And, Texas is obviously in that as well. Wow, that could be a complicated playoff. If imagine if Florida State's undefeated, Texas is undefeated, a Pac-12 team's undefeated.
Yeah, these teams are gonna start playing, but that I just don't see that. Yeah, if it does get to that, but there's no way it ends like that.
I mean, if there's an undefeated team from all 5 conferences, that's very doable. Like either USC or Washington or Oregon is undefeated. Michigan or Ohio State is undefeated. Georgia's undefeated.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So yeah, you Georgia, Michigan, or Ohio State, somebody from the Pac-12, Florida State, and Texas. What the hell do you do?
Yeah, I don't know. That'd be wild. You're gonna start looking at like wins and shit like that, like actual like analytics.
That would be crazy. We're getting ahead of ourselves. That'd be crazy. But my point is, whoever the final 4 teams are, I think what it will come down to this year, truly, is quarterback play. And like if we get to a Final Four, just imagine a world for me here that's Carson Beck, Bo Nix, J.J. McCarthy, and Quinn Ewers. Shit's gonna get interesting. That's all I'm saying. Like,
except we see what playoff JJ looks like.
I know. That's kind of what I'm saying. Like it might. I think if it got down to those 4 teams, I think I'm on Team Quinn Ewers.
That's crazy. Which is crazy.
JJ's good though. He's been good. Bowling Green is bad, but he's making throws like on the run. Like you're squinting and you can see a little of the crazy comps.
I still don't see those, but yes, he's played really. When is their like next game when they actually like play? Well, what's the next hardest game for them?
They don't play anybody good until, they play Michigan State and that was a little joke. Sorry.
Facts.
They're at Penn State. That's the first true tough game.
That's okay.
Everything else is like over a touchdown favorite.
Gotcha. That's crazy. They got opportunities.
They do have opportunities. Can you give me like Barks root beer, Caleb Williams?
No.
No, there's no. I'm not allowed to do any Caleb Williams comp for JJ.
No.
What about like?
I'll give you handsome Squidward faced Drake May.
What is it with handsome Squidward face? Like JJ is objectively handsome.
He has a very like box head.
Do you realize like you can't just call every good Michigan player handsome Squidward? Iggy Brasdakis being handsome Squidward was funny because they actually kind of looked alike, and Squidward was ugly, and Iggy was ugly.
I'm gonna make a little side by side thing, and you'll just see it.
JJ McCarthy's just a good looking dude. You don't need to go handsome Squidward.
Please relax.
What about like? I feel like he's Shea Patterson, but like what's a nice version of Shea Patterson?
He's like Oh,
Baja Blast Shea Patterson.
is he tall Baker Mayfield?
I like that. You can win a national title with tall Baker Mayfield.
He could.
You
He also
absolutely
could not.
can. Is he? Hmm. Is he youth church?
Bro, you're telling me that's not a handsome Squidward face build face?
Not at all. That's just a handsome dude.
Okay, I'm gonna put them next to each other.
It's just a handsome dude. You're not allowed to do this with every Michigan player.
It's not everyone, but
the only times you bring out handsome Squidward is for Michigan players. That's it.
Squidward fits, and Michigan State players are ugly.
I had one other JJ thing real quick.
Sorry.
No, it's just all over the place. I'm gonna be really sad when I remember it because it was funny, but now I don't have it. All right, let's move on.
Oh, my bad. Didn't see you there. You've been finding a void in your life, something that you need a sense of community, a sense of want, a sense of being there. What better place than to join the Sleepers Media Discord, where we have a community, we have discussions, we have engagements, and we have betting advice in there for anyone who wants to get into that betting world. We are more than happy to be your betting Obi-Wan Kenobi and lead you to the greatness of maybe greener pastures and more money. But for the small price of $9.99, if you join on the web, don't join on mobile, join on the web. You can join Sleepers Media Discord, and you can have the safety and the beauty of being able to talk to me and Greg at any time you want. And we are active in the Discord. So I don't know what you're waiting for. Join the Discord, Sleepers Media, $9.99 on the web. Do it now.
All right, from one side of the state of college football to the other, Michigan State, very frustrating game in their loss at Iowa at Kinnick. Cade McNamara goes down. All of a sudden, you think you have a chance. I was texting you and TJ in our group chat on like, hey, I haven't watched this game. I'm out at dinner. I don't know what's going on. Is there value to jump on Michigan State money line? And your text to me was like, if we just don't turn the ball over, yeah. Well, we turned the ball over a ton. Noah Kim was awful. Trey Mosley broke his arm and fumbled at the end of the game. And then, of course, the punt return was the dagger in a very winnable game. I thought Michigan State outplayed Iowa for the most part, other than self-inflicted mistakes. Now, the thing is, you outplayed Iowa, who was essentially playing an offensive lineman at quarterback. Like, I don't want to take too much away from this of like, oh, Michigan State really outplayed a pretty great Iowa defense. Like, they had an offensive lineman at quarterback, and it was a toss-up game even without the turnovers. With the turnovers, it was too much to overcome. So I don't know. There's a lot of mess here. Obviously gross, obviously a blown opportunity. At the same time, probably time for a quarterback change. And I've come on here repeatedly and said that you should stick with Noah Kim. You shouldn't go to Katin Houser. Well, I don't know at this point. It's clear that Noah Kim isn't making the most of his opportunity. I still don't believe Katin Houser's like an upgrade, but you can't just keep trotting Noah Kim out while he keeps throwing interceptions the way he has been the last couple of games. He's not putting this team in a position to succeed. And I think a lot of people have come around on this, like even the people that are skeptical of Katin, like the actual Lansing State Journal type media types are doing this the right way and kind of writing like, hey, it's probably time to see what you've got behind Noah. And then there's the loud contingent that's been hashtag Team Katin since Peyton Thorne was in the building that are very, very loud that quarterback is the problem here. So I'll throw it to you. What do you make of all this? I want your quarterback thoughts, obviously, but where do you start with from takeaways from Michigan State football?
All right. Well, can I do something a little bit different here, Gregory? Can I talk about Michigan State football without having the QB discourse?
I praise you for doing this.
Let's just do it. Let's just do it because I'm at this point. I'm like, Noah Kim is who he is. Who even knows what Katin Houser is? We don't even know if we're bringing in the second coming. We might be bringing in white privilege Noah Kim. Who really knows? So I'm kind of sick of discussing the quarterback thing at this point because I want to talk about other aspects of this game. When you are, let's just put it in a bubble with a phrase just to wrap everything up here. You're kind of not a good football team. I think you got some talented players. You got some guys who I think can really play the game really well. But I don't necessarily know if I would label this team as a extremely talented team. I think they have some talented players. Obviously, the situation going outside the program, there's also a cloud hanging over the program and these players, which needs to be addressed because I think a lot of people criticize this football team, but there's so much going on with this football team outside of the actual what goes on in between the lines. And that's very hard to play with. I'm assuming I haven't been through something like that, but a college kid going through this definitely probably affects them somewhat. But when you aren't the most talented team in the world, you have to damn near play perfect. Okay. Like, and I'm not saying perfect, like complete every pass or make sure you run the ball every single down, but you cannot make mental errors. You need to control the controllables. You need to not have turnovers. You need to not have, deathly penalties in this game. And we did not do that. And I also don't think the coaches did the best job. Just some play calls that I think were just a little bit irking to me. The one that sticks out in my mind is that we're up 3 on our own 40, and we have Noah Kim at quarterback. Now, for those who don't know Noah Kim's measurements, he ain't shaped like Jalen Hurts. He ain't shaped like the Josh Allens of the world. He's 100 and probably 80 pounds, maybe soaking wet. And you run a sneak with them and you get stuffed at your own yard line when you could punt to the backup quarterback. And at this point of the game, your punter has had a really, really good game, by the way, too, has pinned Iowa extremely deep, and they have not been able to move the football. But instead you say, you know what, let's go for this. And then you miss it and you gift Iowa 3 points. And and I texted you this, Greg, and this sequence has been playing in my head since the moment this game happened. Okay. They get their 3 points to tie the game. Noah Kim legacy drive. The Kinnick Magic, Kinnick Kim, the legend's about to be born. 3rd and 3, okay? False start. Tragic. We go from 3rd and 3 to 3rd and 8. What are we going to draw up here on 3rd and 8? Timeout. Play clock's going down. We didn't get the play call in time. All right, let's regroup. Let's get it together. 3rd and 8. Coming out of the timeout. What are we going to run? Another false start. All right, now we're way behind the sticks. We were 3rd and 13, or 3rd and 3. Now we're 3rd and 13. Okay, what are we going to draw up? Nice little out route to Montorie Foster Jr. Kim overthrow. All right, this is really, really ass. But it's Iowa's quarterback. He hasn't really moved this team down the field all day. Okay, here's what we got. Our punter. He had that 15-yard shank last time, but before that, he had Pat McAfee tweeting about him that he's the best punter he's seen in a while. And I honestly was saying the same thing. I tweeted punter you, and I regret that tweet still to this moment that I'm talking to you right now. Proceeds to send a 30-yard line drive punt to one of the most dangerous white boys in the country on the football field with a 20-yard head start because there wasn't anybody on the screen when he caught this ball. Touchdown. And just like that, in a game where Iowa's with their backup quarterback and they're playing with the second coming of Jared Lorenzen, a damn near nose tackle at quarterback, and we get put in the damn blender by Cooper DeJean. And then, maybe we can actually come score, though. We still have chance. There's still time on the clock. Noah Kim completes one of the few throws that were actually accurate, and credit to Noah Kim. He had a lot of turnovers in this game. He had a lot of overthrows. But he also damn near made some pretty good throws in this game to guys like Malik Carr before he got hurt and other guys. But the one good throw he makes, nice little screen pass to Trey Mosley, 5-yard gain. I'm thinking what's going to happen on the next play. And Trey Mosley gets absolutely annihilated, probably hurts his arm and fumbles the ball. Game over, Iowa, that's it. And it's just, I don't know. It's just, we had an opportunity. And I told you when it happened, all we had to do was not turn over the ball. That's it. Just take care of it. Don't force anything. And we could not do that. And it's frustrating. It is, especially because, not to nitpick at Noah Kim, but like the turnovers, the interceptions that he has are just so bad. They're just like, either there's nothing there, it's an overthrow. He's trying to do something that I just don't know if he has in his game. And it's just, I don't know. It was kind of a deflating loss because I think that there were so many mental errors and things that are avoidable, both with players and coaching staff, that led to a very winnable game becoming a loss. And it sucks. And I'm sorry that was very long-winded, but that is what it is.
Yeah, the truth of the situation is that this is going to be a horrible season. And I don't know that there should have been expectations for anything different. But at this point, like, we as Michigan State fans, I put myself in that group, need to come to terms with that. It sucks, but it is what it is.
But and also we said this was going to be like, in reality, like, we knew this was not going to be a good football season before everything happened.
Right.
Like,
That's the
wasn't
thing.
that kind of the consensus?
There was always hope, but that's the thing is this roster just wasn't very good when they had their head coach. And now they don't have their sexual deviant head coach. And there's a lot of guys who want to leave. So what are you supposed to do? Like he built a horrible roster. The roster's still bad. The coaching staff he had is still bad. They just don't even have the guy who maybe could have given them a chance to put things together. And it's a really hard spot for everyone involved. It's easy to blame players. It's really easy to blame quarterback. My frustration with the quarterback stuff in general is just that, again, I think there's 1,000 problems with this football team. Like the Noah Kim was horrible. He did not give them a chance to win this football game. That's true. It's also true that the two biggest reasons it went from a coin flip game to Iowa has the lead and they won the game are plays that had nothing to do with quarterback. Like Trey Mosley fumbling and the punt return had nothing to do with quarterback. So I am willing to say, truthfully, as a guy who has avoided this and been anti this the whole time, it is time to give Katin Houser the rock. And the only reason I say that is because I'm like choking. I don't think my body's ready for me to even say that. The only reason I say that is because Noah Kim has not given this team chances to win football games. And I don't know that any quarterback would. We kind of did a hypothetical of like, what if you drop the best quarterback in the country on this team? How much better does that make them? I don't know the answer to that question, but I know if Caleb Williams was on this team, they beat Iowa. I know if anybody competent was on this team, they have a better chance to beat Iowa than what Noah Kim did this week. And it's now 2 straight weeks of that. It's 2 straight weeks of sloppy, horrible turnovers. That one he made throwing left was just horrendous. Just like 20 yards under throws a ball right to a guy. And at the very least, you have to be more responsible. Like if you're going to be the veteran guy who's clinging to this job over a younger, more problematic guy, you can't make mistakes. You just need to not put your football team in horrible positions. And Noah Kim has not done that in 2 weeks. So look, I still don't agree with it. I don't agree with the mentality of like, hey, what are we playing for anyway? Let's play the guy with the ceiling who's going to make the mistakes. I've never agreed with that. Like, to me, that's a loser mentality. It's a bad way to approach a football season. And honestly, looking back, like, look at Auburn this week. Why aren't they playing some young guy with upside? Like, they already lost a game. Why are they trying to beat Georgia? Like, because it's football. You should try to win games if you can win games. And I think truthfully, they thought that Noah Kim was going to give them the best chance to win games. Now we're at a point where he's not doing that. It's not about upside. It's not about some higher ceiling. It's Noah Kim isn't giving the team chances to win games the way he was supposed to. So I would move to Katin. It might be horrible. Like I truly don't believe Katin Houser's a better quarterback than Noah Kim, but I do think it's time to make the change. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do. Just because, like, I think you just said it. When you put an older guy in there or like a veteran guy, this is the thing for me. I wasn't expecting Noah Kim to go out here every single week and put up like unbelievable numbers. I was a little more realistic in what I thought Noah Kim could do. But at the minimum, I thought we could avoid bad turnovers.
Yeah.
And that's what he's done up to this point. And I think other people might have been a lot harder on him. I'm not like, Noah Kim can't make throws that some guys can make. And that's fine. Not every quarterback in the country can do that. But you can't not make the throws and not do things and then turn the ball over. And he did make some throws, obviously, in this game and some previous games. I think he did. I don't think he gets credit for them, but he did make some throws. But you can't turn the ball over, especially with where this team is. This team can't afford turnovers. We can't. Yeah. And they're bad turnovers. I don't mean to put like, interceptions worth more than another interception, but like it'd be another thing if he's trying to, like, I don't know, like maybe force a play or like make a 50-50 ball and his receiver doesn't make a play. That I think there's been some drops in previous games with him doing that at quarterback, but it's just like some of these interceptions are like, what are you looking at? Like, why are you throwing that ball? And, we're going to see what happens with Katin. It's kind of crazy because, Katin could come out on the first drive and go 2 for 4 with 14 yards and we're punting on a 3 and out, but he didn't. But the discourse around it is going to be shiny new toy kind of thing. So I don't know. We'll see. It also might be unbearable if Katin's special or good, not even special, good.
I hope it happens. I truly do. I know I've come across as a very anti-Caton guy over the last couple of weeks. I truly hope that Caton takes the ball and is special. I hope it gives this football team some hope. I hope it shifts the season. It might happen. I'm not ruling that out as a possibility. I do ask, like my one request of Michigan State football fans is that I want you to keep the same energy. Like if Caton Hauser comes in and has a Noah Kim stat line, I don't want to hear excuses made for Caden Hauser that weren't made for Noah Kim. Is that fair? Is that a fair ask? Like, let's just, and maybe if he's great, we have to be acknowledge and be honest that he's great and hype it up. If he comes out and throws 2 picks and goes 9 for 24 and they lose next week, I would like to assess that the way we have with Noah Kim, which is this is horrible. He's holding the team back.
On this podcast, on this Zoom, with these mics, I can promise you we will do that.
Okay, I appreciate
it. You have my word.
Yeah,
anything else outside of that, I can't give it to you.
Yeah, it's just it's sad, man. It's frustrating because I don't know. Like my frustration point with the whole quarterback conversation still, and I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna throw a shot. Cart, can I throw a shot? Do I have your blessing to throw a shot?
Please.
I'm gonna throw a shot at someone I actually really like, and we did his show, Justin Spiro. Probably my favorite in-person interview I've ever done. I'm going to throw a shot because he had a tweet that was, it was a picture of Andrew Maxwell. And he basically just said Noah Kim, Andrew Maxwell 2.0. Here's the difference. Andrew Maxwell was sabotaging a Rose Bowl ready team. That's what Andrew Maxwell was doing. Noah Kim's not sabotaging shit except for himself. This team's horrendous. This team would be horrendous with a really good quarterback. He's not ruining things. He's only ruining his job as the starter. And look, I hope I'm wrong, you guys. I hope Caton Hauser comes out and flips everything. The whole season's different, but stop it. Stop acting like quarterback is dragging this team backwards from what it would be. That's not the case. And you know what else, Cart, truthfully? Being a starting quarterback on a bad football team is a hard job. It's a shitty job, okay? When everything around you stinks, when guys drop passes, when the offensive line just makes back-to-back false starts out of timeouts on the clutchest drive of the game, when you have no protection, like, it's a really difficult job to look good as a quarterback. So, like, these guys haven't been put in the best spot. And has Noah Kim failed? Yeah, it's time to give the keys to someone else. But the discourse from Michigan State fans around Noah Kim is the reason for this, or he's holding the team back, is just ridiculous to me. And if I'm wrong, I'll say it next week. But I think it's going to be really hard for Caton to look like an upgrade. And he deserves his chance. We'll see what happens. But just stop it. Just, like, be excited for Caton. That's fine. Don't drag Noah Kim under the bus like this team should be 4-1 if they had a competent quarterback. It's not the case.
Yeah. Also, if Caden balls out these last couple of games, he'll be in Tallahassee next year.
That's sad, but it's probably true.
Like, won't he? He'll take over for, if he's nasty in these 6 games. He'll be with DeBoer.
As long as if you get Elko, as long as he brings broken Riley Leonard with him, then I guess we don't care, you know. But I don't know. Weird transitional time. I don't know what you're supposed to do. I just don't like it feels like the Michigan State football fans I actually like love in my life are taking some things out on me, and I don't like that. You got a little mad at me via text this weekend. I don't even get what I did. I
didn't get mad at you.
My boy Tej was just coming after me. Like, I wasn't even watching the game. And Tej just sending texts like, we know you're not a Michigan State fan. Like, I hadn't tweeted anything. I hadn't even watched the game. I'm like, dog, what's going on here? I'm just
probably the Peyton Thorne first quarter hype up tweet.
Okay, seriously, was Thorne not good?
Yeah, he was good.
He was good this week. Like,
yeah.
Are we supposed to still hate him?
He wanted to leave, so, like, I'm not messing with him.
Okay. That's fine, but, like, it wasn't meant to, like, troll. It truly wasn't. He played well. They had a chance to beat Georgia.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Do you wish Peyton Thorne was still on Michigan State?
I think he's better than the 2 guys they've got. I guess I don't know.
That's not even a dickhead question. He actually might be.
I don't
know Kim. I know that.
I don't know that I wish he's back. Like, I don't, it's like Hunter, like, do I want Hunter Dickinson back? I don't know. And Hunter's a way better player.
Hunter's you do.
Hunter's
You
a
sure,
way better.
you sure you don't want Hunter Dickinson back?
This what I'm like. Hunter Dickinson's way better at his job than Peyton Thorne is at his. But
Yeah.
like, Hunter's clearly better than Terrace Reed. Do I want Hunter back? I don't know. He doesn't want to be here. Like, Peyton Thorne's clearly better than Noah Kim. And I think he's, in my opinion, you're going to say we haven't seen it. I think we have all evidence that he's better than Caden Hauser. So, like, do I want that guy back? Do I want the guy that just ran for 100 yards against Georgia? Like, yes, in theory, I think that makes Michigan State a better football team. Do I want him back? I don't know. That's for other people to decide. But, like, I don't get why people are upset with me for being like, damn, Peyton Thorne hooped today. He did. They were beating Georgia most of the game. That's crazy.
But why did you say that Peyton Thorne was hooping?
Because he was hooping. Like,
Okay.
are we not allowed to talk about it?
No, but it's just it's interesting. Like, I don't know. Like, can I go through your timeline and you talking about other people who are hooping? Like, other people have good days. That was just a game you were watching.
The majority of the online fans on this told me that Peyton Thorne was the worst guy in the room. That's what I was told. Were we not told that for months?
I mean, yeah, in some circles, some people said that. Yeah.
Okay. I don't like victory lapping a 7-point loss to Georgia where he ran for 100 yards was a wild move. And then some personal shots from Tej. Wild move. That's all I'm saying.
You know, you and Tej have some things to talk about this week.
You and I have some things to talk about. You were upset with me too.
Because I just wanted to take a shot as my team was trying to rally at halftime at Kinnick, and you two were going at it.
I don't know. I'm truly just going to remove myself. But the concept of I'm not a Michigan State football fan is just false. I am Michigan. This sucks. I'm just real about it. It sucks. What are you supposed to do? This team sucks. Whoop-de-doo. Like, they still got to play Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State. They got 3 losses. What are we supposed to do?
You said, Kate, no, you're one of us. That's what the discourse is going to be.
I am Team Caton this week. He deserves the rock. Let's see what he's got. I hope he's great.
Him being good also will lead to probably 0 wins too.
Why?
Because his team is bad.
I don't know. According to some, quarterbacks held this team back.
No, I'm saying like these were the winnable games. You know what I'm saying? Like this, I don't know. I feel like the Iowa game was a winnable game. Home against Maryland, I guess. I don't know, but it's home against Maryland. I don't really see any other wins moving forward. That's the thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see. At least it's exciting. Like, I am more excited to watch the team to see what Caden Hauser does than anything else. Hopefully it goes well. A Michigan State win would do wonders for morale. Maybe my friends would like me again if that happens. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. We'll see what happens. Let's go to one big thing presented by Big B. What do you got today, Cart?
My one big thing is that carrots are the most worthless vegetable of all time. They're just worthless. They don't add anything to meals. I'm not trying to snack on carrots. I don't want to do carrots and dip in a vegetable tray. I just think that carrots are absolutely pointless. I don't like carrot cake. It's just carrots are pointless is my one big thing for today.
Okay. I endorse that message.
Yeah. I had some Thai food with the wife last night. Shout out to Shin Thai in Royal Oak. I got some udon noodles, spicy with some chicken. It was amazing, immaculate food. If anyone's in the area, try that for sure. And the carrots were just in the way. They were absolutely in the way. Didn't like the way they tasted with the food. I don't know if it's an aesthetic thing or it's like people feel like they have to put carrots on things. You don't have to put carrots on things. If you're on the fence about putting carrots in something, don't put carrots in there. That's my one big thing for today.
What about like smoked or steamed carrots?
No
need.
No, like go smoke or steam a real vegetable. Okay.
In my head, I feel like a warm carrot has enhanced a meal for me before, but
really
a cold carrot never.
Like a really, that's interesting to hear.
Like I feel like there's been like some like in chicken fried rice. There's like chopped up warm carrots. I don't mind that. I think that.
Okay, yeah, I guess I'm with you on that.
Yeah, but I'm never itching like, oh, this needs more carrot. But interesting. All right, I like that. I'm gonna go sentimental sports route today, if that's cool.
Please.
Miguel Cabrera is out. He retired. I cried watching some footage from this. I'm not too man enough to admit or to not. I don't know what the phrase is. I cried watching it. So I'm not a huge baseball guy, although kid me was. That was like my sport growing up. I played it in high school for a little bit. before I fell in love with basketball and just started focusing all my time and effort on basketball related things. And like Miggy is such a critical figure in my personal sports life, but also in like Detroit sports history. I would go so far as to say I think Miguel Cabrera might be, if not the greatest, the second greatest Detroit athlete ever, second or third greatest Detroit athlete ever. Um, and I have a lot of things that I just want to speak on. Like this man, the Tigers lost more games in a season than any team ever, like 2 years before Miguel Cabrera magically showed up. And honestly, what the Tigers did to get Miggy and the process they went through reminds me a lot of what the Lions are going through right now. They're going through being this miserable franchise to all of a sudden they're good. And all of a sudden they have some dogs. And the difference is the Lions still don't have like that one guy who's the face of it all. They're just a good organization right now. The Tigers, like Miggy was that. Like we got Pudge. That was cool. He signed here. But they traded for Miguel Cabrera when he was 24 years old. And he was already a young dog. And Miguel Cabrera never left. Like no offense to Verlander, who I also love, but like Miguel Cabrera said, you know what? I'm just a Tiger. That's all that matters to me. Like he raised a family in Detroit. And this community loves him so much. The way the Tigers did his send-off was magical. Like they hit him. They 4-pitch walked him his final at bat, which stunk, but so Miggy to not like force a swing there. Just take a 4-pitch walk and get on base. And then they come out, instead of DHing him, they let him run out and play the field. He played first base for his final inning. And he didn't even have a glove because he hasn't played the field this year. So he takes Torkelson's glove. They send him out. He runs out on his own. If you haven't seen the video, watch it. He just got a standing ovation. The only guy that ran out had chills. First of all, Comerica Park sold out. There isn't a seat in the house that's not sold out. Incredible. It's been years since that's happened. And the whole time it did happen, it was because of Miggy that it happened. And just on first base, like kind of giggling, smiling. First at bat, the second pitch, grounder right to Miggy. Like you can't make it up. It's like it was scripted. He makes the play because of course he does and gets his moment. They sub him out to a standing O. Like it was just flawlessly done. I am so thankful for him. Like what he did for a decade of just like he made Prince Fielder want to come. He made the pitchers want to stay. He made Detroit a free agent destination. And I'm sick that somehow the team couldn't reward him with a World Series for his time in Detroit. But man, they were there every year and he was the face of it all. And to me, that's legendary. Like, again, if you look at the Mount Rushmore Detroit sports, Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson quit in their primes. Miggy long overstayed as long as he could, like even to the point where people were doubting if he should even be on the team anymore. And I'm just so thankful for it. He was such a great presence, such a joyful, play the game like a kid. Like his love for baseball is just incredible. So one of my favorites forever. The send-off was great. I will miss you, Miggy. And he steps aside right as coincidentally, I think the Tigers are about to take a leap next year. And I think his presence has a lot to do with like kind of leading these guys from a place of misery to a place of they're ready to win. And that's awesome. So shout out Miggy.
Hell yeah, that was perfect. And I think he's still going to be around the team if I saw that correctly, right?
Yeah, they gave him like a position, a special. I don't know what it means, but
I don't even care. Like just be around the facility and be yourself. Be Miggy, the vice president of being Miggy.
Yeah, I mean, he was like riding a bike in the locker room before this game. Like,
he's great.
Guy just loves everything. Great teammate, great guy. So shout out Miggy, man. Who, by the way, who's the greatest Detroit athlete ever to you? If you're asked that question, like, what's your answer?
So I was actually talking about this with my dad at the Lions game because Barry was there, and I don't think there's anybody as loved as I think it was Barry and Miggy were the two that came up, and then he threw in like Yzerman as well, just like the hockey. But I don't think there's any more loved athletes outside in the Detroit area, like outside of Miggy and Barry.
Yeah, I think the names that come to mind for me are like Barry, Calvin, Miggy, Yzerman, Gordie Howe, Isaiah Thomas. Those would be the six. And I think if you were truthful about it, like I'm disqualifying Gordie Howe because old. I don't play that game. So it's Isaiah.
I feel like Dave's gonna hate that. Dave strikes me as a Gordie Howe guy.
Not a hockey guy.
Really?
Yeah, not a hockey family. No offense. Love the Wings. Hope they're great, but just not a hockey family. To me, it's Miggy or Isaiah. And Isaiah has the rings. That's why it's probably Isaiah. But like, God, if Miggy had just gotten one title, I think it would have been Miggy.
Yeah.
100%. Bummer.
Bummer.
All right.
Salute.
Good episode today. Yeah, salute. Good episode. We'll be back Tuesday. Appreciate you. We'll see you tomorrow. Wait. Word of the day. Word of the day. I have a guess today. I actually feel really good about this guess.
Okay.
Margin.
It was margin. You're back. You're back.
That's 3 for 6, baby. 50%. Don't leave me open.
I know. I also want credit for not cheating right there because I was going to change the word up if you got it, but I didn't. I stayed true to the word of the day mantra.
I'll give you credit. 3 for 6, baby. That's 50%. Over 35. That's the goal. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll see you Tuesday.